Breaking news! Buffalo Bills draft rumors are heating up. About before you continue, make sure you've already hit the like button if you believe the Bills have the potential to make it to the next Super Bowl. Dude, seriously, I totally believe it. If you believe it too, write something like this: Go Bills! I believe it! What if I told you the Buffalo Bills may be just weeks away from making one of the most aggressive moves we've seen from Brandon Beane in years? We're talking trade-up potential, bold draft positioning, and a no-holds-barred approach to finally pushing this team past the AFC ceiling and into Super Bowl territory. Because here's the truth, Bills Mafia, the 2025 NFL Draft isn't just another opportunity to fill out the roster. It could very well be the turning point for the franchise. And the buzz? It's real. The Bills have 10 picks to play with and 2 second-rounders that could serve as prime ammunition for a move up in round 1. And the positions they're circling, cornerback and defensive tackle, aren't just areas of need. They're make-or-break roles for a defense that's still searching for its full identity post-McDermott-era consistency. So let's break this down. According to ESPN's Matt Miller, the Bills are expected to be active and aggressive, and a scout from a rival NFL team flat out said, "Don't be surprised if they're the team trying to move up in round 1 for an impact defensive player." That's not speculation, that's inside league chatter, and it's heating up fast. When you've got a front office that's openly acknowledged the shortcomings of guys like Kaiir Elam and is now bringing back Dane Jackson, who they were previously willing to walk away from, there's a clear signal being sent. Buffalo isn't satisfied with their current CB2 situation. Let's be honest here. Rasul Douglas returning? It's not looking likely. And even if he does, are we confident he's the long-term solution at boundary corner? The jury's still out, and most would say no. So, it's no wonder cornerback and defensive tackle have emerged as Buffalo's top priorities for the draft. And the good news? There's a deep pool of talent at both spots. But let's not kid ourselves. Buffalo won't be landing Travis Hunter or Mason Graham unless they mortgage the future to get into the top 5. Those guys are elite, Heisman level, all-pro projected athletes. And the teams picking early? They're not budging. So now we pivot to the next best group. Think Kenneth Grant. He's been mocked to Buffalo consistently, sometimes even falling right at pick 30. Then there's Walter Nolan, physical freak, but with character and effort questions that make him a bit of a risk-reward situation. But if the Bills decide to roll the dice, Nolan has the traits to be special. Derek Harmon out of Oregon is another name rising fast. He's been projected as high as pick 11, but has also slipped into round 2 in some mocks, which keeps the door open for Buffalo if they want to move up slightly or wait and pray. Tyreek Williams is another intriguing option and someone the Bills are already bringing in for a top 30 visit. He's a massive 300-plus pound run stuffer from Ohio State with consistent production and 21 pressures in 2024. Think of him as a potential Alim McNeil clone, the Lions DT who just cashed in on a near $100 million extension. That's the kind of interior presence the Bills have lacked for half a decade. Williams could anchor the middle and finally help Buffalo plug those run lanes that have haunted them in playoff losses past. But let's not stop there. We've got to talk about the corners, because this class is loaded with guys who could become day 1 starters. Jay Barron is high on that list. He fits Buffalo's defensive scheme like a glove. Versatile, physical, comfortable in zone, and a chess piece who can line up all over the field. Then you've got Will Johnson, total ball hawk. Some mocks have him as high as pick 15, others see him dropping into the 20s. If Buffalo falls in love with him, they've got the ammo to go get him. Trey Amos, though, he might just be the most realistic and exciting name in this entire group. Not only does he check every box physically, but he's confirmed a pre-draft visit with the Bills. That's big. Amos had 16 pass breakups and 3 picks in 2024, allowing just a 54.5 passer rating and 50% completion rate when targeted. He's a boundary CB who can hit, tackle in open space, and even help in the run game. Field Yates said he's probably the best fit in Buffalo's defensive scheme, and I agree 100%. Plus, you wouldn't even have to trade up to get him. And while we're on the subject of visitors, don't sleep on Shamar Stewart from Texas A&M. He's coming to Buffalo for a pre-draft visit too. Now, Stewart isn't being mocked at pick 30, which means if Buffalo wants him, they'll likely have to jump up into the late teens or early 20s. But here's why that might be worth it. This kid is a physical monster with 39 pressures last season, and he's only getting better. Yes, the sack numbers don't pop, but this guy disrupts. He's got a forced fumble, 30 total tackles, and is a rock-solid run defender. His bull rush is his main pass rush move, and while he needs to develop a deeper toolkit, Buffalo has the veterans to teach him. Think about that, Stewart developing under guys like Joey Bosa, assuming he's healthy? That could be a scary combo. Also worth noting, the Bills have brought in some more names for visits. Siobhan Rawl Jr. from East Carolina is recovering from a torn ACL but is a physically gifted corner. Ola Alto from UCLA brings pass rushing intrigue. And speedy wideout Isaiah Bond from Texas? He's talented but comes with off-field concerns that may keep him off the Bills' radar at pick 30. Here's the takeaway. This isn't a passive offseason. This is a calculated, aggressive, and potentially transformative draft cycle for Brandon Beane and the Buffalo Bills. The front office has the capital. The roster has the holes. And the class? It has the talent to plug them. Whether it's a trade up for a guy like Will Johnson or Jade Barron, or sticking at 30 and getting someone like Trey Amos or Tyreek Williams, this draft could define the next 5 years of Buffalo Bills football. So now it's your turn. Bills Mafia. What's the move? Do you want to see Brandon Beane push the chips in and go get the guy he believes in, even if it costs a second rounder? Or would you rather stay put and let the board come to you? Type Y4 yes if you're all in on a round 1 trade up, or N if you want to stay the course. And out of the confirmed pre-draft visits, Trey Amos, Tyreek Williams, Shamar Stewart, who are you pounding the table for? Drop a TA, TWW, or SS in the comments and let's build some momentum behind your pick. We're just getting started with the 2025 draft build-up, and trust me, there's more to come. Stay locked in. And now, let's take a closer look at the real strategy that may be unfolding behind the scenes. Because it's not just about who the Buffalo Bills draft, it's how they manipulate the board to come away with the highest possible value. When you've got 10 total draft picks, including 2 second-rounders, you're not just playing with options, you're playing with leverage. And Brandon Beane has never been afraid to use that leverage when he sees a window to upgrade this roster immediately. Think about it. What if the Bills are planning to execute a double strike? Move up slightly in round 1 to get their cornerback of the future, someone like Trey Amos or Jade Barron, and then package one of their second-round picks to move up again and grab a top-tier defensive tackle like Derek Harmon or Walter Nolan before another team can scoop them up. That kind of aggressive, no-nonsense approach is exactly what separates championship GMs from teams stuck in neutral. And speaking of aggression, let's not forget what Field Yates said about Trey Amos. He would start day 1 for the Buffalo Bills. Let that sink in. Day 1. This is a player who didn't come from a blue blood program out of the gate. He started in the Sun Belt with Louisiana Lafayette, transferred to Alabama, then ended up in Oxford with Ole Miss and still put together an outstanding final college season. 16 pass breakups, 3 interceptions, only 2 touchdowns allowed? That's elite boundary production in the SEC. And now he's on Buffalo's radar, scheduled for a pre-draft visit. You don't bring in a guy like that unless he's a serious contender for pick 30, or maybe even higher if the Bills feel someone else might leapfrog them. The same goes for Tyreek Williams. This dude is a 300-plus pound monster with elite strength and a motor that just doesn't quit. 5.5 sacks over his last 2 seasons, 21 pressures in 2024, and a career that started hot as a freshman at Ohio State and never really slowed down. If you want a player who's proven, who has played in massive games on the biggest stages and delivered, this is your guy. He doesn't just plug the run, he collapses the pocket. He's got that dog in him. And if the Bills can land him at pick 30 without moving up, that might be the steal of round 1. But if Buffalo does move up,